Welcome to another 5-Minute Friday. Today we're going to talk about cloning from the KNG2 to one of the older style DPH radios. This came up with one of the crews that went out, noticed that there's some language when you go to clone that was interesting. They weren't sure what to select or what it did. So I want to do a quick video on that. So if you're cloning from this radio to, let's say, this older style DPH, when you go into the cloning menu, let me bring this brightness down so I can actually see this. What I'm going to do is use this round button on the side below the push to talk switch. That brings me right into the cloning menu. I want to send a clone to that radio, so I want to clone active zone. And what's going to happen is it's going to give me an option. UCG disabled, UCG enabled. So UCG is user code guard. So in other words, we're given the option to enable or disable tone guards. Remember, tone guards, code guards, same thing, just different terminology for the same thing. So let me show you. Of course, that radio is already in programming mode. Let's disable it. Show you what happens. Okay, finish the clone. Let's go to this radio, brighten that up. What you should be able to do, if this has been programmed the way that we want it to be programmed, is you should be able to hit one of the keypad numbers, and then what that does is if I hit 5, it's applying the tone from channel 5 to this entire group. But when I hit 5, nothing happens because we disabled it through that clone. So you have to be very careful, and if somebody else is using their radio to clone yours, be cognizant of that. So let me show you that you can actually go back and kind of fix that problem. Okay, so let's send that active zone again. We're going to enable the user code guards. Okay, it's finished. All right, sorry, I know this can be a little hard to see. So this time I'm going to select 5. And you can see CG and then 5 showed up and CG remains in the top. So we've applied the code guard from channel 5 to this entire group. And as I change channels, you can see it doesn't, code guard's still active. So in this case, it applies it to the whole group. With the newer radios, you can apply it to just a single channel, which I think is actually a better feature. And if you want to remove it, you just hit 0, removes the code guard. If you hit 5, you just see this up here. You can't remember later what you selected, but you don't want to change it. You just want to know which one you selected. If you hit the pound button, it'll show you the group that you're in. And then really quickly, it'll pop up and show you CG5. Let you know that's what's been selected. So again, when you clone from this radio, you send the active zone. It asks you, do you want to enable or disable the tone guards? Remember to enable them. Some of the other language that you'll see when you clone between different radios is sometimes it'll say, do you want to send the pick list, the UCG or CG pick list? Really all that's doing is if you have tone guard 5 selected on your radio and you clone it over to another radio, it's just telling that other radio that you had 5 selected, and then depending on the radio that you're using, it may actually apply that selection to the other radio. So you haven't enabled or disabled code guards, you haven't changed the frequencies or reprogrammed tone guards. You've just said, I had 5 selected on this radio. I want to send it over and select 5 on that other radio. I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer. My feeling is if I was going to send a clone to somebody and it asked me, do you want to send the pick list? I would say no. And then they, on their radio, are free to pick whatever tone they want. And even if you sent the pick list and it automatically selected 5, it's not like it locks them out and they can't change it. You can still change it. But I don't want to apply a tone on their radio that they didn't know was going to be applied. I want them to make that decision based on where they're working and all that stuff. So those are kind of the two options that you'll see that are a little confusing. But this one was the most problematic because if you disabled it, you then disabled the tones on the older style radio, which would be a big deal. And you can undo it, which is good. Just reprogram it, enable it again, and you're good to go. Thanks for watching.